Hey, you guys, good morning. It is week 3 of our new MK Your Way, and I am super excited to be here. I have so much to tell you today, and I'm going to go really, really fast. So grab your notebook. Feel free to press pause on this video, rewind if you need to, go back and review stuff. But we're going to talk about some of my favorite things to teach on in our Mary Kay business with time management and goal setting and words of affirmations, and we're going to hit it hard this morning. And I know this is a change of plans as far as originally we had planned to go live on Facebook tonight, but it's a little bit of a crazy day at my house this morning. I've got some appointments and stuff coming up, and then thanks to the flexibility of my business, I get to take off this afternoon and go to the district sectional baseball final game with Grant and for his team and cheer them on. And then when we get home, we're going to do a little birthday party celebration because he is 16 today. So lots of stuff going on. If you guys are watching this video on the 18th when I record it, say a little prayer for my family and just that I have strength to get through today because I'm tired. It's Thursday. But anyways, we are going to jump into our training for today, and I have so much stuff, just like I told you, so much stuff that I want to tell you about it. But the real focus that I want to begin with today is, what is your goal? What is your real big girl goal? I know we talk about goals a lot in Mary Kay, and sometimes as women we are fantastic about talking ourselves out of those goals. Like maybe my goal is to have 10 parties on my books this month, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm busy on this day and this day, and on this day I'm going to get ready for that day, and maybe I just need 5, and maybe really I only need 2. And we are fantastic at justifying stuff like that, when realistically we need to be determined and like laser focused on our goals and like stay like head down, no drama, blinders on, remember? So today we're going to move from saying I want to be a red jacket or I want my free Mary Kay car into actually picking up your red jacket at Gillies seminar and picking up your free red car or your free Mary Kay car at the dealership. So we're going to shift from saying it to doing it today. And by doing that, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to create an action plan. And some of the things from the action plan is we're going to use some proven techniques and some scripts and stuff. The reason we need to do this, or the reason that you're going to be able to stay focused on doing this, is because we're going to go back a few weeks and go back to your why. A few weeks ago, it was actually the first one we did this month, so you can kind of scroll back on Facebook. We talked about your why and connecting your business to your why, and that really can help motivate you and push you and keep you on that laser sharp focus with your blinders on that path. If you don't remember your why, or you think you know it but it's been a while since you actually read it, go back and look at it, because I know when I write stuff down, I write it down in detail. And so if I think about my why, I may think, okay, I'm doing this for my family and I'm doing this for my kids. But when I really sit down and review my why, like just in the last couple of weeks, my why has been providing extras for my family so that we didn't have to stress about it. And Eric and I just talked about this morning before he went to school. When he went to school, I said, hey, I transferred this amount of money to our joint checking account to help you pay the bills. I paid Grant's prom stuff a couple weeks ago. I paid for his driver's ed. I went ahead and paid for his church camp for the summer. I paid for Noah's pole vault camp for the summer. I paid for a day camp that Bella wants to do for a week this summer. And I paid for Grant's guitar that we purchased yesterday. So all that's taken care of out of my account, and you don't have to worry about it. And the look on his face, I mean, it's a crazy time of year for us. It's track districts and little sleep going on at my house. And to know that like I could just really lift that burden off of his shoulders was like, that's my why. And that gets me more emotionally excited. If you guys could look really close at my eyes, you see them maybe watering a little bit. That gets me emotionally motivated and driven, more so than just saying I do this for my kids. There's a huge difference between I'm doing this for my kids or I'm doing this for Eric to listing out exactly what I'm doing. So go back to your why. Those are the things that keep you connected. Those are the things that are going to keep you motivated even when you face obstacles, because you guys, obstacles are a part of life. Disappointments are a part of life. How you deal with them, though, determines your outcome to that life. So that's why we're going to do the goal setting today. The goal setting is basically your GPS to get to your goal. It's going to take you over the speed bumps, over the obstacles. You're going to be able to plow through them, and you're going to be able to keep going. Because we are winners in our unit. The Women of Wonder are a group of winners, and people who like to win are people who achieve their goals. And winners put it all on the line even before they start. Like, they visualize the whole process, not just crossing the finish line, but they visualize the practice. They visualize every step of the process. Whether you're a hurdler, you visualize jumping over the hurdles. If you're a swimmer, you visualize, like, from the time you dive into the pool, everything is prepared for and planned. And then it's claimed. Like, I'm claiming it. I'm a sales director by July 1st, 2017. It's happened. And that's one of the things that helps you make winning a habit. And that's what they do. The winners make winning a habit. And that's what we're going to do in our business. One of my favorite books that I'm currently reading right now is The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson. It's in the other room, so I can't show you what it looks like. But we actually have 3 copies of this book at my house. Like, I purchased 3 copies on purpose because I'm reading it. Grant has already read it, and Noah's in the process of reading it, but I stole it and gave it to my mom this week. But the whole point of the Circle Maker is to create circles around your goal and claim it before it even happens. So we, in the book, Mark talks about purchasing a property for a church, and he literally went to the property and he walked around the property every day, and he prayed for when God was going to bring them that property, and praised him for how he was going to bring them that property. It was like in a crazy busy area of Washington, D.C., and it was going to be super expensive, and they didn't have the money, but he claimed it, and he did this day after day after day, and eventually God answered that prayer. And so that's what we're going to do. We're claiming it. So we need to have vision. In order to have a goal, you need to have vision. And there's 3 different types of vision. And this comes from Pam Shaw, who we love. If you don't know Pamela Shaw, you want to find her and stalk her like I do. But 3 types of vision. We have historical, we have the present vision, and we have the future vision. So there's different cautions I want to give you about living in a historical vision. Do not live in that historical vision in the past, because if you base your vision on the past, then you're going to have this like little devil on your shoulder, and he's going to be like, well, you haven't done it now, or haven't done it yet. What makes you think you're going to do it now? You've never been able to achieve it before. What makes you think you can do it now? You don't have what it takes because you didn't have what it takes last month when you tried to make those booking calls. And that vision is a dangerous place to be when you're tying it to your past, because you can change the past. You can change your present to change your future. And so don't stay focused on there. If you're having a hard time getting out of that, call me. Let me know, and I'll get you out of there. We'll work on that together. If your vision is in the present, there is a high likelihood that you will easily get caught up in the urgency of everyday things. Like, we know as women, we get distracted by shiny things, and there are hundreds of thousands of shiny things coming at us every day. And so it's easy to let things distract you from your goal. For instance, you may have your weekly plan sheet, you may have your daily plan all listed, and then a friend you haven't heard from in a long time calls you and says, hey, let's go to lunch. There went the rest of your day, because you had planned to work through your lunch, and that lunch that you take off and go with your friend because you haven't seen her for a long time just took 2 hours. A better idea would be to schedule her later and schedule a specific time so that you can plan your work around that day. So don't get caught up in the everyday distractions. I used to do this all the time. I had some family guilt going on, especially I had a family member who used to call me every day in the summer, and then when I resigned teaching, he called me every day to ask me to watch his daughter. And I would, because I felt guilty. I loved my niece, and I wanted to be there to help her. And Eric finally sat down with me, and he said, listen, you didn't quit your job to babysit her for free. Like, I know that you love her, but that's not providing for our family. That's not helping us reach our goals. So I had to release that guilt, and I had to say no. And it was okay. Like, nothing happened. The world didn't come tumbling down because I said no. And so that was a lesson learned for me, that no is a good thing to be able to say to people. So a lot of times too, when you live in the present vision, you react to situations instead of designing them. As life comes to you, you react to it, and it's easy to lose our focus when we get some kind of crazy phone call or some kind of drama or something like that. Whereas when you live in your future vision, you're continually growing. Your mind naturally goes after the result, and you feed that future vision because when you feed that future vision, when you feed that future vision, you know you're going to hit a setback. Like, we all hit setbacks. Mary Kay and life is not all rainbows and Skittles, but when you hit it, you can pull yourself back on track. So that is one of the things we are going to work on, is living in our vision. So no matter where you're at right now, we're going to move to that place, to that future vision where anything can happen. So I'm going to give you some steps. So I know we're list makers, and I'm going to give you a heads up. There's 7 steps, so you can number 1 to 7 right now. And the 7 steps right here are: have a solid, unbreakable, unchangeable, without a doubt, positive attitude. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you're feeling negative on the inside, start speaking positive on the outside. And if you're feeling negative about yourself on the inside, start speaking positive about your kids and about your husband. And then that will end up lifting your spirits, and you can start with the positive about yourself. Be positive. Be positive, people. I can't tell you that enough. An optimist is always the person who can focus on the future. And it's, you guys know, when you ask somebody, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, well, I got this. And it'll sound like a country song, like my dog died, my truck got a flat tire, and, you know, all these things wrong. Versus, even as somebody in that same situation who says, you know what, God is bringing me through some incredible journeys right now and growing me and stretching me. Even in a negative situation, you can take a positive outlook on it. So have an unbreakable, unchangeable, positive attitude. Step 2. Prioritize your goal so you're going to stay focused on it. I said it. Prioritize your goal so you can stay focused on it. It's got to have like extreme, utmost importance to you, and it has to have a deadline. If you don't have a deadline, it's just a wish. Like, if it's someday I'm going to earn a Mary Kay car, that's a wish. If it's I'm picking up my car on September 1st, that's a goal. That's the difference between a goal and a wish, is a deadline. And I would love for that deadline to be something that, like a day that's unchangeable for you. For me, the company offered us an incentive that if we were I think it was a future sales director or higher on the career path, by December 31st of 2010, we got to go to leadership that year, which was in January. That was a deadline I couldn't change. For 5 years prior to that, I said, I'm going to earn my Mary car in 6 months, or I'm going to earn my Mary Kay car in a year, or whatever. But I kept like changing my deadline because I wasn't laser focused on it. But when I had a deadline that I couldn't change, like, it was like head down, no drama. There was nothing going to stop me from that. So prioritize that goal. And then step number 3 is to have a plan of action in place. What steps is it going to take you to reach your goal? Sometimes we have a huge goal, like I want to be a sales director, I want to get my free Mary Kay card, and then we don't map out the steps that it takes to get there, and that's a huge frustration. We have to have that plan. A goal without a plan is going to have frustration, and you're going to quit because you don't know how to achieve it then. You don't know the steps that it takes. So find out once you decide your goal, contact me, contact a sister consultant who's been in the business a little bit longer, and find out what activity is required to reach your goal. And decide, are you willing to do that level of activity? So I'm going to give you a little story. For instance, if I were to say that I'm going to go run a half marathon, that's a goal. If I'm going to say I'm going to run, well, that's a wish. I'm sorry, that's a wish because I didn't put a deadline on it. If I say I'm going to run a marathon or a half marathon in September, that's a goal because I put a deadline on it. But I'm not going to just like show up that day and expect to be able to run 13.1 miles, right? I have to have a plan. So one way to do that is to find a training plan to get to a half marathon, like endurance level with my body. So when we did this in the past, we downloaded a plan, and I had to look at it and be like, okay, am I willing to do this? With everything I have going on in my life, because I was teaching full time at that point, am I willing to take on training for this at the same time? Because 5 days a week, that was an extra hour to my day, and one day on the weekend, it was usually about an extra 2 hours to my day because we did a longer run. So I had to look and say, am I willing to sacrifice to have that level of activity? Like, am I really a woman of my word when I say that I want to do it? And I had a running partner, so I had to. Like, a friend and I, actually a group of friends and I, signed up for this together, so we held each other accountable. And you guys could absolutely do that too. But I had to ask myself, am I willing to do that level of activity to get there? Okay, step number 4. Are you emotionally ready to do this? Every situation has 2 reactions, and you've got to decide what kind of reaction are you going to have. If you're struggling with being emotionally ready for stuff or having the proper reaction, there's a book I have that's called Above the Line, and it's by Urban Meyer, the coach of the Ohio State football team. Fantastic book. But in the book, he teaches us, here's the line, here's the situation. Your response is either above the line or it's negative. It's below the line, okay? So over here we have the event. So everybody's event happens, and then we add in your response. And that's what determines the outcome. So your response, again, can be above the line or below the line. It's your attitude in it. I'm not saying, again, everything's rainbow and Skittles. And it's okay to be like, I'll call Dina or I'll call Eric and be like, give me 1 minute to vent, and then I'm done and I'm over it and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And then I can move on. Because it is okay to vent, but I'm not going to take 5 hours to let that thing get me down. So be emotionally ready. You guys, there are days that we're going to feel like we are making like miles and miles of progress, and the next day we feel like we just went back a mile. That's okay. Winners know that that's part of the process. Winners know that there are days you're going to feel like you made great strides, and there's going to be days that you're like, did I even get out of bed today? Because you're not going to feel like that. But it's the journey. It's the consistent journey of working towards it that makes the difference. It's not that isolated bad day. And when you stay focused like that, those isolated bad days are going to be fewer and farther between. So that's what adds up and creates the victory, is that consistency. Step number 5, and this comes from Pam Shaw, not me, but I could have wrote this. She says, get time managed. Get time managed. We all have the exact same amount of time in the day. I don't say it anymore. You're not going to hear me say, and if you do, call me out on it. But you're not going to hear me say, I don't have time. Because I choose my time. I may choose not to make the time. But we all have the same amount of time. So there's a difference between I don't have time to do that, or I choose not to make the time to do that. And that, to me, makes it more of a conscious decision in my brain. So prioritize the time that you have. I promise you, every single one of us, me included, have some things that we're doing right that are bringing us closer to our goal. But we also have some things that we're doing that are not bringing us closer to our goal. These are things that are taking time away from our goal, and eventually that's going to push you further away. So what are things that you need to get better with time management? Let go. You guys, let go of those unneeded things that you do. Delegate stuff out. I said it again. Delegate stuff out. You're going to hear my phone ringing here. My house phone's ringing. But I've delegated cleaning, and Martha's here to clean today, and she's going to answer that. So now she's going to answer the phone for me. Delegate stuff out. Startling revelation for women across the world. Are you ready for this? Write this down in all capital letters. Not everything in your house has to be done by you. My gosh, have you ever heard that before? Not everything in your house has to be done by you. You don't have to do all the cooking and the cleaning. You don't have to be the one to, here we go, load and unload the dishwasher. I know, that's a huge thing. Nobody else can do it like we can. Whatever, let somebody else do it, you guys. Get time managed and delegate that stuff out. This is one of my huge game changers because I was a horrible time manager. And one of the things that changed for me was my morning routine. When I got disciplined in my morning routine, that was a game changer. When I stepped into leadership with Mary Kay, when God called me into leadership with Mary Kay, soon after that was when I started a disciplined morning with getting up and working out, and like my morning is to a T. Everything I do is almost exactly the same, down to my coffee. Like I have a coffee at the same time every day. Everything is to a T because that's how I stay on focus with my time. All right, number 6, acknowledge your stumbling blocks. We all have stumbling blocks. Figure out what they are. What are some things that can cause you to slow down in your goal? It could be habits. It could be other people. It could be material things in your life. And identify what or who in that needs to change. What habits do you need to give up? What people do you need to let go of? Again, I want to to lead by example, and I want to speak from personal experience. I've been there. I've done that. I've had the hard conversations, and if you need to have a hard conversation with a friend or a family member, let me know. I'll gladly pray with you and help you through that situation. Those are not difficult, or those are not easy conversations. They're very, very difficult, but sometimes they're absolutely necessary for the good of you and for the good of your family. I had to let go of some friendships with family members who were consistently negative. Every time I called them or they called me, it was, did you hear this person did this? And we just became like gossip queens, and it was even affecting our own marriages. And so we had to stop. We had to change that relationship. So what do you need to let go of? When I did, that conversation was extremely empowering once we got through it. It was definitely difficult to have, but it really helped me mature in my journey as well. Okay, step number 7. Here we go again. Capital letters. Are you ready? Be accountable. Be accountable with me, with your sales director. Your job is to decide how often and what type of communication you want with me. Do you want me to call you? Do you want me to text you? Do you want me to email you? Do you want me to show up at your door every day, every other day, twice a week, once a month, whatever? Let me know how often and what type of communication works best for you, and I'll be there. At the same time, my effort's going to match your effort. So if you tell me that you want to make 10 booking calls a day and you want me to check in with you every other day, but you don't answer my phone calls, or you only make your 10 booking calls once a week instead of every other day, there's not a whole lot I can do on my end to help guide you to your car, help guide you to your sales director position if you're not willing to do that level of activity that we just talked about. So be accountable with that. Learn to love accountability. As women, especially independent business owners, we're like, well, that's part of my Mary Kay business is I get to be independent. I don't have to answer to somebody. But that's what helps you stay on track, knowing that somebody's going to be like, hey, how'd you do on your booking calls today? Whether it's somebody at the gym who says, well, you weren't here this morning, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Those accountability things are good. Like, it's a good thing. Change your mindset. If accountability is negative to you, change it. Change it, change it, change it. Okay, so here we go. Now, to get into some activities and some lists and stuff like that for this, we're going to start thinking of people who you know who would love to start their Mary Kay business. If you really sit down and look through your contact list, you probably already have 3 people in mind, or 3 people on there who are like looking to start their Mary Kay business. They may not have even told you yet. So we don't want to spend like all day thinking about our plan. We want to create and go. If you spend the next 2 hours writing down your plan, and the next hour after that shopping for the perfect stuff to put on a goal poster, and the next 2 hours making your goal poster, there's 5 hours of your day gone, and I'm going to come through the computer and I'm going to shake you. Go, 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 go. Just go. That's why you're going to see our goal posters here. These are like, took me 5 seconds. If you can see this one here that I need to update. See, I'm not even like spending a ton of time doing this. Literally, you guys want to know what to do for a goal poster? I went to Walmart and I bought a big desktop calendar and I ripped the pages off and used the back. Those are my goal posters. They're taped all over my office. And that takes me no time at all. If it's something that's going to take time, like our big vision board, $300,000 unit club, I delegate that out. I talk to people about my vision and our vision for our unit, and then I delegate that out. So don't spend all day coming up with the perfect poster or whatever. Let's get busy doing it, okay? All right, because as you come up with your team members, one of the things that's going to be the greatest tool for you is your excitement. Your excitement and your passion about your business. That's why when we have bigger groups of people, parties, Tuesday night events, those are great places to recruit people because there's more excitement because there's so many more people. Oh my gosh, if you were at my house Tuesday night, we had almost 30 people here. There was a level of excitement there that, oh my gosh, we have not had in weeks and weeks. I was so excited by it. So that excitement is your best team building tool. So we're going to work today on believing in yourself so that you can make it happen. So let's do paperwork wise. I want to show you the files that I'm going to post. So the first thing we're going to do is I have a potential team member list. And the thing I love about this is it gives you different categories of people who you may not have already thought of that you could potentially recruit. I'm going to encourage you to put chicken list people on here. We've talked in the last couple weeks of contacting your chicken list, people that intimidate you, and approach them. The worst they can say is no, right? So I've done this. When I gave you guys the challenge, I took it upon myself, and I was a little nervous, and I've contacted a few people. I contacted a neighbor across the road, and she thanked me profusely for thinking of her, but her daughter's a consultant. I contacted a cousin of mine who she's just super cute, and I just have never facialed her. I've never offered her the chance. I've never asked her. And so we got together. We had a fantastic time. We're actually doing her follow-up appointment here in a little bit today. And then another gal I have a party with tomorrow night, and she has 4 people, I think, coming to that. So contact your chicken list people. It's very empowering to do that, even if they say no, because you're like, okay, I survived it. It's invigorating. So that's one of the things that we're going to work on is who do you want to recruit? And these people are people that you can send a video to. You can do a career chat with me. I'd love that. You could totally call them and be like, hey, my director gave me this challenge, and I need to get 3 people to listen to a video about Mary Kay and do a follow-up phone call with her. Will you be one of my 3? Super, super simple. All right, I totally got off track here. All right, so another thing for you to do as you're working on your time management is a distraction list. We are so distractible as women. This I love because it gives examples of things that we typically get distracted by. First thing, red flag on here that jumps out at me is surfing the internet. I am limiting my time on Facebook, and you all know I don't do any of those games because they waste my time. If I need like time to just kind of defragment, then I could read, or I could pray, or I could just listen to some praise and worship music, anything like that. Other things that you can, okay, so this sheet here, you're going to be able to do stuff, you're going to be able to dump stuff, and you're going to be able to delegate stuff. So doing is things that you have to do, right? Dumping things are things that just flat out don't need to be done, like watching TV. Once in a while we just need to veg and watch TV for an hour or something like that, but like it's been probably, I'm going to say, a month since I've done that. I think the only reason we have a TV in our house is for sports, is so they can watch football and baseball. Noah watches survival shows. That's it. Like, it doesn't need to be done. Another thing on here that says grocery shopping. Delegate that out. You guys, there are so many people out in this world who love to do the whole couponing thing, and that like thrills them beyond belief. Let them do it for you. That's cool. So go through here and work on your distractions, and you're going to realize there are things in all of our lives still today, even in my life, that I could dump and get completely rid of, and probably some things that I should be delegating a little bit better. So let's work on that. And I would love for you guys to share all of these with me as you fill them out. So, okay, so with our time management, then the last part of this little activity is going to be developing your plan of action. But in order to do that, we need 4 specific goals to focus our time management, okay? The first one is weekly goals. Weekly goals. What do you need to accomplish in your Mary Kay business this week? What do you need to have in retail sales this week to pay those bills to make it a little bit easier for your family? The second thing is your organization and planning. This is something I typically do on Sunday evenings. I look at my calendar and I decide, where am I working in my office this month or this week? Where are my appointments? When am I doing errands for the kids? What all is going on? But I organize and I set everything out for my week, paperwork-wise. Okay, and then of course our daily priorities. Mary Kay has taught us that you should do the 6 most important things every day. So at night before you go to bed, you write down a list of 6 important things that you want to get done the next day. Sometimes it may go up to 8. Try not to do more than 10 or 12, because then we get overwhelmed and we just shut down. But 6 things every day, and the one that you want to do the least, the one that you're dreading, is the one that you should start with. Because when you can tackle that big one, then the other ones are easier and easier and easier to do. And then the last one is support. How much can you delegate the non-income producing stuff so that you can make more money? Because time is money, and if you can have your support system, meaning your friends and your family members and whoever your Martha is who's cleaned in your house, delegate stuff out to them so that you don't have to spend the time doing it. Okay? And that is all going to drive you to come up with your plan of action. This is another flyer that I'm going to post. And it's really going to hold you accountable. And it says very boldly at the bottom, after you've completing this, you may want to print it and you may want to share it with your sales director and a power partner. I challenge you to even post this on our Women of Wonder page. That would be accountability right there. So that's the main part of what we wanted to get through with time management and focus today. I also want to spend a little bit of time on working with integrity, because one of the things that really sets our business apart from other companies is the integrity of our business and the relationships that we have with our customers. So I want to spend just a few minutes talking about that. Because when you can build trusting relationships with people and work with integrity, those are your most valuable assets. That's why people keep coming back. And that's why they want to do business with you, because you're a woman of integrity. And in this day and age, that can be extremely hard to find. Our business is all about the relationships. The success of your business is going to be really strongly related to the success of your team as well. And that includes your relationships with the girls on your team. So as an emerging leader, as soon as you get your very first team member, guys, we love to meet face to face so that we can work on those relationships. It is so important for us to develop strong relationships with each individual in our business, each individual consultant, each individual customer. When you have those solid relationships, that's going to help you in times of stress and in obstacles as well. So another thing that happens with that is when you have strong relationships with people, other people see that and they're going to gravitate to you because they want to be part of somebody who is a woman with integrity. Part of building a relationship is having trust, and you earn people's trust by guiding them. So when we talk about team members, you earn their trust by guiding them to their success. Team members need to see that you are in it for them, that you're not in it for you. That's why I offer to do grand openings for girls, because they need to see that I'm here to help them every step of the way. And that's, again, what gives them the confidence then that, okay, I can do this. If I need help, Debbie's right there to help me. And when I'm ready to kind of go off and do more on my own, then I can just seek her guidance when I need it. One of the things that Mary Kay always told us was that when you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And I look at that with the amount of women we have growing in our unit even this month, because we are helping so many more people empower themselves, and other people want to be a part of that. We did a career chat last night, and that's what she said. I said, what attracted you to this? She said, the fact that you're empowering women to be more, to do more, to change society. She said, that's what I want to do. It was a very easy career chat because she knew exactly why she was attracted to our business. But Mary Kay, the company was built one relationship at a time. And Mary Kay asked herself when she started the company, you guys, we had 9 consultants. 9. And she worked with each individual person, and that's what built the integrity. Now, the other thing about integrity, when Noah was in kindergarten, his kindergarten teacher taught him, integrity is doing the right thing no matter what, even when nobody's there, even when nobody's watching. So if you said you were going to make your booking calls from 10 to 11 today and nobody's home to keep you accountable, are you going to make your booking calls, or are you going to get distracted by laundry or dishes or TV or a nap or whatever, or Facebook, you know? How focused are you going to be? Where's that integrity level? A few questions to ask yourself when it comes to integrity. Some of these are easier than others, but the first one, there's 4 of these too for my list makers out there. Do I provide correct information about the Mary Kay product and the opportunity? If you feel like you need to develop some skills about the product, go ahead and get on Product Central on your InTouch account, and you can find all kinds of information about our products. But what about the opportunity? There's a ton of stuff on InTouch about sharing the opportunity. Get together with me and let me know what questions you have, and I can help you there as well. Question number 2, do I always treat people fairly? What Linda Tupin has taught us is what you do for one, you must do for everyone. So when I have a consultant who texts me or calls me and says, hey, there's such and such new product coming out and I'm not planning on order it, can I go ahead and buy one from you? I can't, you guys. Like, that is, if I would do that, then I wouldn't have integrity in my leadership. Would the majority of you ever find out about that? No. But it's still not right. And you can't expect God to bless a business that you're not running with integrity. So stick to it. Stick to your guns no matter what. Number 3, do I always keep my commitments? Do I always keep my commitments? Do I keep my appointments, whether it's an in-person appointment or a phone appointment or whatever? And am I a woman of my word? One of the things that I heard on the radio a couple months ago now was talking about commitments and being a person of your word, even in the very first thing you do when you start the day, which is getting out of bed. When you set your alarm, you commit to getting up at that time. Like, that's why you set your alarm, because you weren't woken up at that time. If you hit snooze, your commitment just went out the door. You totally gave it up. And when I heard that, like they said, you are not a person of your word when you hit snooze. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of harsh. But it's true. If I'm hitting snooze, then I don't really need to get up and do all that stuff I put on my 6 most important things list. So are you keeping your commitments? And number 4, when you meet a potential customer, do you always check to make sure that she has a Mary Kay Beauty consultant? You should. And you're going to run across people, because not everybody runs their business with the integrity that we do as Women of Wonder. There are people who don't stick to that. And I guarantee you, eventually you will have a customer who you will see at an event with someone else, or starting her own business with someone else. I've been there. I've been there recently. And I just can't get hung up on it, you guys. There's plenty of people in the world. I just wasn't meant to work with her through that. I don't know if it's God sparing me the fact that she's not going to run her business with integrity either, so that's why he didn't have her on my team. I don't know. It's not my job to question. I just keep going and look for other people I have relationships with. But you always want to see who, what's their experience. Do they have a consultant that they're working with already? So those are all traits of people with integrity. You guys, it's impossible to have integrity and not be committed to something. You can't. You just can't. So that's why we have this huge promotion right now with Mary Kay that's being all in. When you're all in with your business, you are committed to your business. All in with our products. You are not going to find a non-Mary Kay product on my face and on my body other than like shampoo. Wash and shave, like shower gel. I mean, everything. Yeah. I've been places with even some sales directors, they pull out like a lip product that's not ours. I'm like, what are you doing? So leading by example and with integrity, being committed all in with your business. So one of that ways is to lead by example. So ask yourself, as a potential leader, because we're all going to get our red jackets, as a potential leader in our unit, what am I personally doing? How many personal skincare classes have I done this week or this month? How many personal team building appointments have I held this month or this week? Because when you work, your team is going to follow this example. Okay? So one of the ways that you can also lead by example is having effective communication. How you carry yourself, how you interact with people. Carry yourself with grace and act in confidence. Now, I'm not talking like you have to be elegant when you move. As I was typing this up, I actually laughed because I am not a graceful person. We were just talking about this morning too. I'm not a graceful person at all, but I act in confidence and I act with pride because I know that I'm a daughter of the Most High King, and that's how I carry myself. Handle disappointments with grace. When I have a disappointment or a frustration, like I said, 1 minute of venting and then get over it. I am not going to blast that person's name all over social media and complain about them. That drives me crazy. Drives me absolutely crazy. So become an effective communicator. Again, for my step girls, here we go. 6 steps to become an effective communicator. Did you ever notice that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth? There's a reason for that. That's so we listen more than we talk. Don't assume you know what she's going to say. Focus on her. Don't try to finish her sentences for her. Listen. Sit back and listen. And once she's finished, then you ponder that and you can ask an appropriate question or give an appropriate response. Second question, or second step. Ask open-ended questions to really try to figure out what she's trying to say and to demonstrate that you haven't already formed an opinion or have an agenda. So there's something different in saying, so Susie, with everything that you've heard about Mary Kay, what are some questions that you have about considering a Mary Kay business? Versus, Susie, have you decided to start your Mary Kay business yet? Because I need one more person to get my red jacket. Completely different. She's going to feel like she has more of a voice when you ask the first way. What are some questions that you have about a Mary Kay business? Okay. Number 3, empathy. Showing empathy towards other people, and a huge part of this is going to come from your nonverbal cues. Nonverbal cues are key to people. If you sit back and you listen with your hands crossed and your arms crossed, that's showing that you're closed off and you're not truly listening to them. So don't sit like that. Number 4, I'm going to give you some words to remove from your vocabulary. We are not allowed to say, I can't, I wish I had, I'll try, if only, I shall not do that. Those are all energy stealers, and they're not going to benefit you. When I hear somebody say, I'll try to do that, no. In all honesty, they're not going to do it. When I hear somebody say, I'm going to do it, that's somebody who's going to complete the task. So remove some of those negative words from your vocabulary. I actually have a sheet of some things that we're going to kind of remove from vocabularies. Another step for becoming an effective communicator is deal with the no's. You guys, we all have the no's. Kate did an incredible job a couple weeks ago when she was experiencing some no's and it was hurting her feelings. I said, Kate, she had an appointment that day at an office, and I said, when you go to that doctor's appointment, take a pack of gum, and it's going to be completely weird because you typically don't offer a receptionist or a nurse a pack of gum, but do it anyways. And so she did, and she called me and she goes, not a single person took my piece of gum, but it was okay. Like, I didn't leave crying. That's going to give you the endurance to accept the no's. You have to realize you are a business owner, and people don't shut down a business because you say no. If somebody calls and says, there's somebody, I think it was Chatney one time, who gave an example and said, if I call and cancel a dentist appointment, my dentist does not go boo-hooing and shut his office up early and quit that day and not work the rest of the day because I said, no, I'm not coming in. Like, get over it and keep going. If you hear a no, ask him, is there any reason why I couldn't contact you later to reschedule? Okay, that'll help too. And then step number 6 is breathing belief into others by leading by example so they know how to follow you. So I love watching you guys do this. When you have new team members and you're breathing belief into them and you're stating vocally out loud why you think they are going to be great at this, how you know they're going to be an awesome consultant and they're going to be able to make their dreams come true, you can literally watch a girl's posture change, her smile change, even like almost instantly. Her complexion, like the bags, you'll see like just the stress bags start to relieve because somebody believes in her. And how many times have women, before Mary Kay, how many times did somebody say, I'm proud of you and I believe that you can do this? Because I know for me, I could probably count on one hand that ever happened in my entire life. So knowing that somebody believed in me was just like mind blowing. And we want to create that. We want to create that in our teams, and we want to create that for our kids too. So we're going to dive deeper real quick into a couple of activities that are going to help you lead by example. And one of the things we're going to work on doing is find something to appreciate about every single person you come in contact with. So the first thing that we're going to have on here is I want you to revisit your why. Connect to that again, just like we talked about at the very beginning of this video. Are you doing this for your kids? But exactly what are you providing for them? Okay? When you're communicating with people, I have a couple of scripts here and a couple of scenarios that you can kind of go through and how to effectively communicate with people. One of the things that we were taught by Linda Tupid is you pretend a conversation is playing tennis. When you play tennis with somebody, you hit the ball back and forth. So I hit the ball to her, and I wait for her to respond to it, and when she hits it back to me, then I respond appropriately. I don't cut it off right like at the get-go or mid-sentence or anything like that. And then, of course, with the positivity and speaking belief into people, we have affirmations and vocabulary extenders. So these are going to help you with that as well. So I'm going to post all of those with this video. But at the same time, you guys, remember we have to be able to manage our no's effectively. Don't be scared of them. Expect them. Whenever you get a no, ask her, does that mean no, not now? Does that mean no, not ever? If it's a no, not right now, who do you know who might be interested? If you're not interested in trying our charcoal mask right now, who do you know who might be interested in that charcoal mask? asking for those referrals, that's a natural part of Mary Kay. It's a natural part of our process. It's that gum. Who do you know who might like a piece of gum? Okay. Sometimes we get no's because we have a lot of relationships we haven't formed yet. So if I'm getting a lot of no's from, like, say, Susie's referrals, then I need to go back and I need to look at my relationship with Susie. Because if I don't have a strong relationship with her, she's not going to guide her people to have a relationship with me. She's not going to call her people and be like, oh my gosh, I had this super Mary Kay, like, awesome facial last night, and she's going to call you and you need to get together with her. So if I'm getting a lot of no's from her people, then I need to take a step back and I need to look at my relationship with her and try to build that, because that's when she wants to share with her friends. So I know I gave you guys a lot of information today, but hopefully you took a whole bunch of notes, and I would love for you to post comments down below or message them to me. And we are one step closer, 1 week closer to getting you into your red jacket.